What is up? Oh, how's everybody doing today? It's another Fantastic Monday, episode number 62. We keep on chugging along. Burp. Excuse me. Let's start the show off right. This does look familiar. This is kind of where we ended up last week. But, I had intended to do a build video on this. And today we were going to be unboxing the Hellcat. We were going to unbox the Hellcat today. But because of the fun times that we had on Pilot Ryan's show on Saturday, I don't have a Hellcat to unbox. This is a mighty fancy stand we got here. This is the C Mafia. He CNCs these, does all the CNC cutting using half-inch PVC sheet. They're pretty sturdy, good to go. You can talk to C Mafia and he will hook you up. All right. So for those of you guys that saw Pilot Ryan's show this past Saturday, you got to see me and Bobby do a little build-off competition where we were building. He was putting together a Dynam P47, and I was building the Dynam Hellcat. And he got me by a few minutes, and that's okay. You know, I think a lot of people expected me to take hours and hours. But hey. So today we're going to build this Grand Cruiser. And we're going to do something a little different. So I had intended to do the Grand Cruiser with I was going to do the Grand Cruiser with just a regular, Spectrum receiver. But with this Radio Master receiver that I've got, the 8-channel Radio Master receiver, I think we're going to try that out. And we're going to use the S-Bus output to drive this little guy. So I've got a, you guys can't see this very well, but this is actually a Detrum gyro that takes S-Bus input. So we're going to try to use the S-Bus output of the Radio Master receiver into the S-Bus input on this guy, so we only have one wire coming from the receiver that drives all the outputs on the gyro, which should be pretty cool. We will see. So, never done it before. We're going to try it out, see what's up. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started on the Grand Cruiser build. Well, we got some of the stuff kind of done already. Because I cheated. Because I cheated. This one must have quick disconnects on it. Yeah, I keep hearing, I need an A6 on the wall behind me, but I've just never been a fan of the A6. Not the regular A6 anyway. I like the EA6B Prowler, the 4-seat version of the A6. And I've seen some folks that have done, mods to turn the regular free wing A6 into an EA6B
102.
Boop, boop, boop. Let's see here. So the first thing we're going to do here is glue on these silly wing tanks. The tip tanks, because we got to route the LED wire from the tip tank through the wing. All right. So how many people caught the Pilot Ryan show on Saturday? Were you guys all there? Did some of you miss it? So Bobby and I had a good time doing the build off with the P47. The P47 and the Hellcat. And I thought, hey, what the heck? I'll build this Grand Cruiser today. But the nice part about the Grand Cruiser is I don't have Bobby sitting here breathing fire down my neck. So I don't have to rush it. And I can use regular tools this time. I don't have to use the stupid tools that came in the kit. Oh, there it is. I think I got an open tube of glue somewhere. Yep, here we go. All right, so how many guys have actually put a Dynam plane together before? Have experienced the joy of putting together one of these Dynam airplanes? George Watts, thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. Yep. I think that anybody that has, you know, let's call it the privilege of being able to put together a Dynam airplane, you guys get it, you know. They're not the easiest, but they're definitely getting better. You know, that was something that someone had asked about. You know, I had done an Instagram post with the Hellcat, and someone had asked, you know, how the quality was on the airplane. And you know, one of the things that I noticed about the Hellcat build, you know, especially when we look back like a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago now, was the first time that I had done a Dynam build, and I did the Focke-Wulf FW190. And I mean, that thing gave me fits, right? So you guys that watch that video of me doing the Focke-Wulf FW190, you guys know how much of just a real pain in the butt that plane was. I mean, that thing just was one issue after another. And, you know, it was awfully relieving, you know, putting together that Hellcat. How much easier putting that Hellcat together was than, you know, my first dyno experience of putting together the that Focke-Wulf. You know, so hopefully that's a sign of, you know, improvements that they've made in their processes with the foam assembly and things like that, that, you know, that the Dynam airplanes are going to get better. Yeah, I'm watching them. You know, I'm kind of, this is that kind of that gel foam tacky type stuff, so it takes a couple of minutes for it to set up, but once it does, you know, it does pretty good. And I don't want to put tape on there because for show it will rip the paint off, and I don't really want to rip the paint off. Yep, I know. Tape it up. That'd be the easy answer. But this stuff, you know, once it starts getting all sticky and stringy when you pull them apart and you get that oxygen in there to kind of help get that glue starting to set up, you know, once it starts to take hold, it doesn't let go. And I think if I actually go ahead and run these LED wires, that'll help to keep things kind of stuck in there too. All right, we'll get that wire down in there. Hey, nice. The literature on the BitGo website says that this plane comes with 40 amp ESCs, but this actually is rocking a couple of 50 amp ESCs. So, hey. Lyndon Stewart, welcome to the show. Thanks for stopping by tonight. Not sure if I've seen you around before. So, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, so you're always up to date and aware when we have videos popping up on the channel or every time we go live. You know, I do have the shows every Monday, but I've been known to go live at random times through the week to do weird stuff here and there. Airplane builds in the middle of the week. You know, maybe announcement or whatever. It's been known to happen. So ring that bell. That way you know what's up. I mean, we typically try to have a good time, but you know, sometimes we're doing builds and I would say there's not a lot of talking going on, which for some people, you know, that could be good. Now this is something else that's really cool, guys. Oh yeah, right on, Wild Bill. That's what I'm talking about. So this is really cool. These used to be glue-in covers. This is what covers the rest of the length of the wire from the ESC, you know, out to the Y connectors that are in here. This has now got plates on it and magnets embedded in the foam, so you don't have to glue that in. I was about to get some glue and glue it in, but that just snaps in now. Boop! That's wonderful. Very cool. All right, it looks like our glue is starting to set up here on them tip tanks. We'll go ahead and run this wire over. For the other LED. Get everything kind of pushed down in there. So when you get this, the wing is all one piece, so your spar and all that good stuff is embedded into the foam. But for those of you guys that watched the latest video from, I mean, who hasn't seen that yet? The latest video over at Big Go Hobby, where Bobby put the G25 Tomcat motor. It's an 1140 kV motor in a Dynam T28. And then he ran it on 4S. If you haven't seen that video yet, go check out the Big Go Hobby YouTube channel, because it's pretty awesome. Oh yeah, he killed that T28 for sure. That thing is a goner. All right, Fred Barron, what's going on? Holy cow, indeed. Hey, so last week, did I show y'all the wonderful decals that came with this plane? I mean, maybe I'm just a glutton for punishment, but one of the things that I enjoy about these Dynam airplanes is putting the, oh, yeah, Randy, you know, like, not the bank where he came in, because the final turn that he made, you know, was pretty slow, and then he came in and, you know, nailed it in a straight low pass, and when he was pulling up, that's when the wings just went but I think it was the turn, you know, on the circuit before that one, that same turn, he was coming through, you know, in almost like a 90-degree bank, and you could see the wings like just barely holding on. It was pretty funny. All right, so we got them tip tanks on there. Everything's looking pretty good. we got our LED wires routed in. So what we're going to do now, and this is, you know, maybe a little bit backwards from how we would normally do an airplane, but I think it's how we have to do it on this Grand Cruiser. Now, one thing about the Grand Cruiser is there's no way to access the inside of the upper portion of the fuselage, right? So once we mount the wings to the bottom, we're kind of done, which means that everything needs to be working before we plug everything in down here. So we got to get all these wires up in there. Bring them all down to the bottom. And kind of get all of that stuff, you know, set up and ready to go before we strap the wing down. Because I'm going to mount, you know, my gyro and my receiver right on the centerline portion of the wing here. Because there's no other place really to set it on the inside. You know, so I'm going to mount the gyro and stuff here and then put the wing on, you know, and mount my 4 bolts for the wing. So that's going to be, I mean, not so much of a challenge really, as we just got to make sure that everything is good to go before, you know, we set that wing on. So a little different than what we would normally do here. You know, normally I'd go ahead and get the wing mounted and have all that stuff going. But what this does is it creates like a scenario where I have to make sure that everything is kind of perfect, you know, before we move on to that next step. Oh wow, we don't have a lot of room for the aileron and elevator, not on the front side. So I'm going to take the wires for the aileron and elevator and run them around the back. Because y'all know how we do when things ain't working. We take that mother trucker back. I'm taking this mother trucker back. Get back, dude. See, I'm trying to let gravity do its job, but it doesn't want to push these wires down. See, I'm glad this was not the build-off plane. Man. This is no fun. Let me see if I can get one of them fancy cigarette holders. Help me get these wires where I want them. And what's sad is I can see through the window. I can see what's going on. It just won't. They won't come out the back. I think that's what I have to do is just shake it. I think I can get it. And I gotta get my fancy cigarette holder in there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All that to get my rudder and elevator servo wires coming up the other side. So I can put my gyro in the back. All right. Oh man, that means I gotta program the gyro too. All right, what do we got here? That's my 3-wire deal. That'll go up to my receiver. This will be S-bus, S-bus. All right. There we go. Let's see what I got in the stash. And here's my Radio Master receiver. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay. So what I'm doing here is using a servo tester to make sure that all of my servos are what I think they are. So I should be able to use that to that works as expected. This one says rudder. Alright, and that all looks good. Yep. This one says elevator. And that one looks good. So all of our servos are working as expected. Inside the fuselage. All right. So let's see. What are we doing? That will be like that. Elevator. Rudder. We'll run this cable. This one's going to go up to the S bus. All right. Just like that. All right. That's gonna go to the landing gear, which will be channel 5 is the mode selector. 6 of flaps will go to landing gear. Into port 7 of the PWM output. Number 7 on the receiver. And we got a whole bunch of Y cables and light controllers and all that fun stuff. Yeah, the shirt does match the plane. That really wasn't expected or intentional. Alright guys, so I've got my navigation lights on the wingtips, on the tip tanks. Those I'm going to leave solid. The lights on the beacon light on the top of the vertical stab, I'm going to make that a blinky light. Because I think that's how it's probably supposed to be. And we'll just plug this into a rando spot. Let's throw that into channel 5. That'll be 6, 5. Won't be where my lights go. Yeah, so I think everything that's in the plane is already hooked up. That's crazy. We're just kind of, you know, keeping our fingers crossed that this actually works. Because like I said, I've never done like an S-bus type of setup before. So this is a first. Y'all are seeing some exclusive stuff. Well, maybe not exclusive. I'm sure other people have done it before, but just not this guy. And maybe the first time that y'all have ever seen me use the TX16S to control anything. You know, I know that I've talked about it on the channel. I've had it completely ripped apart before on the channel, but I've never had it bound up to an airplane. So I think this might be the first time you guys get to see that. I haven't had it bound up to an airplane, you know, like where you guys got to see it in the show. I have absolutely run it in an airplane before, that you guys have seen. So the video where I am flying the Waco, that is, all right, so this is my throttle. Yep, the Waco I am flying with the TX16S using an FR Sky receiver. All right, so we need another Y to go to the flaps. And the gear and the LEDs are just kind of hanging out right now, so I'm going to try doing this. All right, my gear's all hooked up. That's my flaps. So the flaps I'm going to run into the receiver. Right here. Oh, what a bird's nest. That's my ailerons. Throttle will run right into the receiver on channel 3. And let's see, ailerons will go into the gyro. On channel 1, and then our 2 LEDs will go into the LED controller. All right. So I think I got all my connections made. David, yourself, thank you, sir. I'm going to go ahead and create a new model.
Radio Master TX16S.
Yes. All right. So I can kind of pay attention now. Let's see. I want to go to Model Select. And I think this is such a wild one. I think I'm just going to create a new model. We're just naming everything. All right, Grand Cruiser. No model image, no timers. Oh, that's the problem. So internal module, multi, FR Sky, D16. Oh man. We'll go with channels 1 through 8, telemetry on. All right, we're about to blow something up here. Well, why ain't nothing turning on? my battery checker? Let's see if these batteries have juice. This one has juice in it. And I got the throttle plugged in. So that should be giving me my BEC. Huh? I got nothing. Weird. Is everything upside down? I don't think so. No, that's... Is everything upside down? I might have all of my plugs upside down. Which, you know, I've done dumber things. All right, let's see how that works. My. All right, so we are ready to bind. Channel 1 through 8 telemetry on. Yep, I had all my servo plugs upside down. Like an idiot. Why can't it find you? Multi-protocol FR16. So the battery is a bottom feeder in this airplane, and it goes up at an angle. It kind of goes in line with the front angle of the canopy. David, yourself, I will check that when we are done here. Yeah, I hit the bind button on the receiver. And it is in bind mode.
Welcome to the Radio Master TX16S. Switch warning.
Okay. Yeah. Alright, so it looks like it worked. I think where I'm going wrong here is I don't do a lot of FR Sky stuff, you know. I think I actually have to disconnect the power and then bring it back up again after it's bound up. Look at that. All that one wire stuff is working. There it is. Awesome. So that big old rat's nest of stuff under there is actually working. I'm kind of shocked. Let's see. So I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a roll of electrical tape. So I gotta kind of admit, guys, I'm a little bit excited because this is the first time I have used, or the first time I bound up this Radiomaster D16 receiver. And this is that receiver that we talked about a couple weeks ago, man. This thing is $13. And I'm using the S-Bus output on this receiver. It works great. So 8 channels, S-Bus output, full telemetry, $13. And y'all know me, man. I'm usually not the guy that will take you down the budget category very often, you know. I'm usually trying to tell you to go buy up Spectrum everything, because I do love my Spectrum stuff. But, you know, every now and then I gotta tip the hat to these folks at Radiomaster. All right, so let's see. Gotta find a way to get come on. Oh, Joe Pellegrino, this is staying. I do not plan on taking this receiver out of the plane. So when the flight review gets done, this is going to be what it's running with. So, you know, for those of you guys that weren't around in the very beginning, or even if you were, what I'm doing in the Grand Cruiser is I am running the Radiomaster R168 receiver, which is a FR Sky D16 protocol with S-Bus output, so it supports 16 channels over S-Bus, and it's got 8 PWM outputs, so it's not 32 total. You can either choose that the PWM is your standard servo outputs. The S-Bus can do all 16 channels, and on the PWM outputs, you can either choose for the ports to represent channels 1 through 8 or 9 through 16. Either way you want it, you can do it. So the way I have this set up right now is I've got my S-Bus output running into a Detrum iStone gyro stabilizer, because I haven't had a chance to play with one of those yet, and I need to, you know, I need to review that too to make sure it's good. So I've got the Detrum gyro, which you can get at BitGo Hobby for like $20, $24, something like that. And I've got my aileron, elevator, and rudder plugged into the gyro. I've got a single S-Bus output going from the receiver to the gyro input. And on the receiver, I have my throttle, my gear, and my flaps. Right? So basically everything else that doesn't run out of the stabilizer. And that's how we're going to run this thing. And then I'm going to take some guesses. I'm not going to go too aggressive because of how kind of a pain in the butt it is to get the gyro or the whole wing assembly on and off of this thing. So I'm going to go pretty conservative. On my gyro settings. Here we go. And let's see, let's get out some Gorilla tape. We're going to mount our gyro down to the wing. Alright, on my gyro settings on this Dynam gyro, it's all set with potentiometers. There's no like in-flight gain adjustments, so I set my gains, I set the roll to about 45%. I set the pitch to about 55 to 60%, and I've got my rudder at about 70%, so that should work. And then we're just going to stick that in the plane right around that center line position. I need to prop it up. This is probably the biggest pain in the butt. Yeah, I didn't get any hair, any Gorilla Glue in my hair, Ryan. So I appreciate you, you know, reminding me that Gorilla Glue in the hair is a terrible idea. Because you never know. I might have tried it. Let's glue this little antenna in. All right. You know, there's another little piece that I'm pretty sure, well, maybe not. Maybe that's not what I thought that was. Nope, I'm not missing nothing. We're good. I mean, I guess I can just kind of leave the receiver floating around in there. The only thing that's got to be like really fixed in place is the gyro. And everything else can just kind of, you know, can flop all over the place. I mean, it won't look good. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works in here. Like how we would reverse those control surfaces. I'm sure that we have to reverse them on the gyro. And I think we can do that with my handy dandy Dynam 3-in-1 programming card. I think. I don't know. I don't actually see a spot to plug that programming card in. Maybe using the programming card on this particular gyro is a no-go. So yeah, that's a good call. I need to make sure that that's all ready, set up and good to go before I button up the airplane. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. How are we gonna run? So this Grand Cruiser, like I was saying in the beginning, I mean, this thing is kind of an odd one. Because of the way the battery mounts and the way that, you know, the wing mounts, and you can't really get to this top area at all. You know, I guess I could rip that windshield out. Look at it, the manual is for big fat babies. So, EQ, this is a Detrum, one of their iStone gyros that was sent to me for review. And I'm using it on the Radiomaster R168. It is an 8-channel PWM S-bus telemetry capable receiver, which they're pretty fantastic for the price. $13. This crap is crazy. So I think for now, I'm just gonna kind of lift up this whole thing. Flip it all over. And probably all the people that have Grand Cruisers out there are like laughing at me right now, like, oh, you're doing it wrong. You should have done this first. Oh my goodness, there's so much crap. I'm trying to get the XT60 connected through here so I can get a battery plugged in. Woo! They don't make this plane easy. You know what else they do is because of the way that I have to put the battery in, I bet this iStone gyro is not one of those that's smart enough to know, like, oh, you plugged me in when I was upside down.
Welcome to the Radio Master TX16S.
Hey, awesome. Well, happy birthday to all you fine folks that have birthdays. I think it is Kenny's birthday, so happy birthday to old Kenny, Hanger 51. And happy birthday to Mr. Victor Shamulis's daughter. That is also cool. Hey, look, the lights are on the right sides. Our beacon is flashing. Alright, so I'm going to set up our mode selector. I want the modes. Okay. Yeah, there are too many moving parts. I think it's gonna fly. For right now, you know, I'm still trying to get things kind of situated here. All right. Alright, now I'm gonna, can't remember where I put the flaps. I think the flaps are on channel 6 like they should be. Flaps. I'm gonna delay, slow up and slow down. Look at them big old barn doors. Alright. And I want to say I put my... There they go. I put the gear on channel 7. Because it's open TX and we can do whatever we want. Alright. Okay, so all of that was to make sure that my mode selector switch was working right. Well, that's like self-leveling. I didn't think this one was supposed to have like self-leveling stuff, but it sure does. Alright, so the ailerons are correct, so at least I'm not going to take off like... I'm not going to be crashing immediately upon takeoff because my ailerons aren't reversed, you know, so I'm not going to like roll the plane over and go straight nose first in. So that's good. Then the rest would be... I need to get my control linkages set up in the back. Let's disconnect this battery because somewhere in here we got some just junk servos. God, that sounded awful. Look at that, telemetry lost. How convenient. Okay. So I believe these horns we're going to need to glue in. It doesn't look like they have backing plates. So they're just glue in horns. Nice, Spencer. It really doesn't, man. I think once you get suckers like, you know, invested in this hobby where you give a person the ability to, I mean, it's just kind of magical, you know? Like, we're creating, not really creating, other people created them, but it still doesn't take away from the excitement of, you know, putting something in our hands that we make fly. And not like a paper airplane where it just kind of soars around and crashes, but like, no kidding, we're flying it, dude, and that's awesome. I don't think there's anybody, except for the people that just have a real rough go of it, you know, that try this hobby and say, it sucks. You know, I can't think of one person that I've done like a demo flight for, or an introductory flight, whatever you want to call them, that has said, man, that was a terrible experience and I never want to do that again. No, Hangar 51. Kenny, that is not right. Spectrum mapping defaults to throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder. Radio Master and OpenTX default to aileron, elevator, throttle, rudder, like Futaba. So Spectrum is the oddball. OpenTX does it the same as Futaba. Futaba. Oh, I probably should have. Probably should have done that first. All right. So I got one control horn on. So I just don't have backing plates for these control horns, which is fine. I really don't expect to be flying this plane. You know, this is going to be one of those planes that's just a nice scale flyer for me. I don't plan on just burning up the skies with it, right? I say that today until I get it out to the field, and I'm like, oh man, this thing, if it flies awesome, you know, I'll try to do some trickery with it. But it sure does look good. I really do dig the silver and red a lot more than the old blue scheme. Blue. Where the heck are my pliers? Yep, mine too, Jeff. You know, this is one of those things that I have to clarify with Kenny at another time, because I don't want to sit here and like get into an argument, right? But I don't know how OpenTX defaults, right? My Radio Master defaults to AETR, aileron, elevator, throttle, rudder. Unless I change it, I have to change it to something else. But, you know, if you were to install OpenTX on like a brand new deal, what would that default to? And I don't know the answer to that. Yep, and all this stuff I'm doing right now, these control horns, the control rods don't have clevises on this model. They've got these little quick release or quick adjust deals where the control rod is just straight in the back, and then you slide it into these collars and tighten down a screw on it to get it tightened up. So that's what I'm doing, is installing these little quick adjust collars onto the horns, making sure they got Loctite on them and all that stuff, because we don't want to lose control surfaces mid-flight. That would suck. Do a little dab of glue. Little dab will do you. Yep, so like I mentioned, man, it's a good thing that I did not race Bobby on a Grand Cruiser install, because Bobby had been done like an hour ago. So Joe Pellegrino, auto trim is pretty cool. So you can have like a switch or a momentary button or something set to auto trim. Like say you've got your momentary switch back here set up for auto trim. So basically what you do is you get your airplane up in the air and like you're holding the sticks to keep the plane flying level, and then you hit that auto trim button, and however you're holding the sticks at that time, like say your plane is like going to the right and you move the sticks to get it flying level, then you pop auto trim, right? And wherever your sticks are at that moment in time that you hit auto trim, it sets your trim levels to that right there, that position, and then your plane is nice and level. You know, so the idea is to fly your plane, you know, get the stick the way you want it, pop auto trim, let go of the stick, and it should fly straight after that, and you don't have to worry about setting, you know, 50 clicks of trim or whatever. You know, it's supposed to make trimming the plane much easier. All right. So I got my rear control surfaces good. So I should be able to now go ahead and plug the battery back in.
Welcome to the Radio Master TX16S.
The Radio
Switch warning.
Master? Welcome to the Radio Master. Oh, what's your switch warning, lady? Okay. So we're in the home stretch. We're just going to plug our battery up. Make sure goodness. I gotta watch other videos apparently to find out what the best way to get that battery in there is. So I think that's our no gyro setting. It is, so that's where I want to. That's where I want to be to center up all my control surfaces. elevator. Rudder. All right. So that needs to be reversed. Rudder's good to go. The elevator is backwards, so we need to go to model, output, channel, aileron, elevator, channel 2. Reverse it. Yes. So we are good. And I'm not even going to worry about bolting that wing on right now because there's a lot of other stuff that I want to double check inside there and try to clean it up where I don't have wires flipping around all over the place. Because there are control rods and stuff that go through there, but looks like everything is working. I should have my gear working. Yes. And my front steering is working. Everything's doing what it's supposed to do. I dig this thing, man. I think it looks awesome. All right. And there's a couple of other adjustments I want to make. I want to see if I can't do something with the radio to stop those servos from buzzing. They shouldn't be buzzing like that, so I think I can just set a little bit of offset in them. You know, do some sub trim to kind of get them out of that bound up area that they're in. Because that's the flaps up. That is this flap servo over here that's making all that noise. You know, and this flap servo is not having any problems, but this one, you know, it's pushed. I think they just have it set too far forward. Like it probably needs to back out and have it moved one gear or 1 tooth on the gear, like move the servo horn back by 1 tooth. But the way it is, I mean, I'm going to try to, because the servos are glued in, right? I really don't want to pull them out. Try to fix that with sub trim. Move the sub trim back a little bit to get the neutral position of the servo in the up position where I want it. And then we can just play with travel and stuff from there, because with the flaps down, I mean, they're like barn doors, right? Y'all saw how far they came down, I think. It's pretty ridiculous. So I don't need that much throw in the down position of the servos. So I need to adjust that. I'm going to play around with the wiring, make sure everything is correct. You know, for now, I'm just pretty excited that we got the thing operational. And that we've got it running, you know, so everything is running on the TX16S. We've got our gear, we've got our flaps, we've got our aileron, elevator, rudder. The gyro mode selector is good, and the gyro is all running across S-Bus. So I've only got 4 wires plugged into the receiver, and then, you know, I run 1 wire from the receiver back to the gyro, and I've got my aileron, elevator, and rudder plugged into the gyro. So I don't have like it'd be worse, you know, there'd be even more wires in there if that didn't work right. So there's a couple of things that I'm pretty excited about, how it's working. And I'm looking forward to getting this one in the air, because this is a pretty freaking cool model, man. And, you know, I hate to use it as an excuse, but I mean, I don't even feel like it's an excuse. It is the fact. It is the true fact explanation that it's a Dynam. You know, they make some odd choices now and then that we have to, you know, as model airplane enthusiasts, we have to, you know, find a way to work around the decisions that were made during the manufacturing process. So, you know, to make this airplane where you really have no way, once that wing, and that's what makes this whole thing, I'd have been done a long time ago if I had access to the electronics compartment with the wing mounted. That's what I can't do. So I have to make sure that all the electronics are 100% squared away before I bolt that wing down. You know, so that's why I'm not doing it yet. I want to make sure that everything is good. So Raymond Molina, if you ask in the chat if C Mafia is in the chat, this stand came from C Mafia. He will build a stand for you. And this is all custom done. He makes them. He's got a 3-axis CNC machine. All of the parts that you see are 1/2-inch PVC sheeting. And he uses a CNC machine to cut those pieces, assemble them, and creates these stands for us hobby enthusiast type folks. Yeah, and you know, popping the window out probably would have been an easier thing to do. You know, but I think think I'm going to be able to get it all done without doing that. You know, someone had mentioned, it may have been Ryan mentioned the other night, that on the V1 version, so the white and blue version of this airplane, that the window was not installed. You know, so when you bought the plane, that front windshield, it was out of the plane, and you had to put it in on your own. So you basically did everything up and then installed the window afterwards. Now, BD Tennessee, this is the Dynam Grand Cruiser V2. In the description of this live stream, there is a link that'll take you to BitGo Hobby, where you can look at the specs. You can buy them. They're $199, which is a little, it's actually a little less than most of their other twins. So the price on this is $199. It is available right now today in stock at BitGo Hobby. So you can get it using the link in the description, or if you are having a hard time getting to the description of this video, you can go over to rcairmarshal.com, click on the BitGo Hobby link, and do a search on the BitGo Hobby webpage for Grand Cruiser, and you will find this guy. Now, something to keep in mind. Oh, well, come on, man. You get the stand from Sea Mafia, but you don't need this stand. You need this airplane. Oh, that's awesome! Just plain crazy. You're getting close to that 2K mark. So if y'all are not subscribed to Just Plain Crazy, head over, subscribe to Just Plain Crazy, subscribe, ring the bell. He's got some great informative videos out there on all kinds of just cool topics. And right now he's going through like a bunch of stuff on balsa builds, gas builds. He had a super cool picture on earlier today of something that I didn't even know existed, a freaking electric start system for you know, for a gas motor. So you just like flip a switch on your transmitter and like, that's awesome. I didn't even know you could do electric starters on these little gas motors. So go check him out. He's got cool stuff on his channel all the time. The stands, Sea Mafia. If you're interested in one of these stands, head over to Sea Mafia or message him, whatever. You know, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find him in our weekly live shows, whether it's here or you find him in a, you know, if you can't find him in this show, he's in all of the shows throughout the week. So you can find him in the RC Pilots Lounge on Saturday with Pilot Ryan. You can find him in Fight Club tomorrow with Dustin and Jeff's Custom RC. Woo! Sea Mafia, you'll find Sea Mafia in Hump Day with GB Linton. Right before Hump Day, you'll find him in Hamilton's Hangers live chat. You'll find him in Tinny's live show. On Thursday, Hangar 51. On Friday, you'll find him in Dave's RC. If you want to talk to him live in person, you can jump in our Zoom on Friday nights, which is always a fun time because Sea Mafia hides in there. And then again on Saturday, you can find him in the RC Pilots Lounge. And what looks like it's going to be a new thing for y'all that didn't know. So Sea Mafia doesn't have a link. He's just one of our users, you know, one of the community members. And you just kind of have to catch him while he's here. So, I haven't seen him say anything here in a little bit, so I'm not sure that he's in here tonight. He was here earlier, but I don't see him right now. But like I said, all of our live streams, you're going to find him. You can find him in the comment sections. I mean, the guy's all over the place. Oh, new thing for you guys that didn't know. It looks like, you know, Mary Boozer is cutting back his live schedule by a lot, maybe once a month, whatever, or just like new releases, and that spot has been occupied by Big Go Hobby. So Big Go Bobby, Bob the Builder, is now going to be doing a live stream every Sunday. And I mean, yesterday it started pretty late. Hopefully he'll, you know, kind of standardize when he's going to be starting that show. It'd be great to see him go on at like 8, you know, a little earlier on Sundays. But, you know, whatever time he goes on, I'm sure that we'll have some people there to support him. It was a fun show last night. Big O Bobby, you know, y'all know Bobby Committa. He's a good time. And let's support our guys over at Big Go and help them get that stream off to a good start. We had like 50 people in there last night at like 11 in the evening. So that was awesome. There. He does need a tool belt. And tonight, after this show, don't forget to head over and check out our guy Ray, who we just had in the chat here. Gooniac33 Fire Booty. Y'all, you know, everybody knows him as Gooniac. He makes the Fiery Booty Afterburners. And he does a live stream right after this when it starts at 10:15 Eastern, 7:15 Pacific time if you are on the left coast. So we're having a good time, guys. You know, Ken Sprouse, I am not 100%. I'm not 100% on how to get aware or how to get a hold of C Mafia. I'm not going to give out his I have his personal email address, but I'm not going to give that out on the show, not without his permission. So, for right now, I'm not 100% sure how to get a hold of him to order one of these stands. He does have a couple of threads on RC Groups, the RC Groups forum. You know, but I can't remember what his name is on RC Groups. So if I figure out what his name is on RC Groups, I will make sure to put that in the description of the videos where I'm using the stand. Because if you look up his name, he's got some stuff in the classifieds. And I can't remember what it's listed under, but it's there. Yes. So subscribe to Big Go Hobby, turn on the notifications, but like I said earlier, if you need to buy Big Go Hobby, head over to rcairmarshal.com and click the Big Go Hobby link. Also, there's links in the description for the Grand Cruiser. It looks like this thing is going to fly fantastic. I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's a good-looking model. We haven't put the props on yet, but I mean, everything looks like it's going to do well. I'm looking forward to getting it up in the air. I'm super excited about the radio setup that we got going on in here with the S-Bus, you know, receiver going back to that Dynam or to that Detrum gyro. That makes me happy. Brian Chambers, thank you so much. So, yeah, the Grand Cruiser, this is a pretty classic airframe, the Cessna 310. You know, if you're... I mean, here's what I think, right? For the price of Dynam, everybody should try at least one. Everyone should try at least one Dynam model. And when you're thinking about which one to try, you know, come find myself, come find Ryan. You know, we've flown a lot of these Dynam models now. We can tell you the good from the bad. There's really, honestly, not a lot of bad ones. They all fly well. You know, what you're going to have is different levels of difficulty of assembly. Some of them are going to be easier to assemble than others. Some of them are going to fly a little better than others. Some are going to have better power out of the box than others. You know, but I think that we can point you in the right direction. And then once you have decided on which Dynam model you want to try, you got to give it a go. You know, because they're so affordable. 160, 170 bucks, you know, for like a 1300 size airplane is a great deal. So everybody should try at least one Dynam. And when you do, you should go to rcairmarshal.com and click the Big O Hobby link to buy it. So, all joking aside, guys, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. Ray's show is starting in 12 minutes, so don't forget to go and check out Ray and check out everybody all 7 days a week. You know, whether that's Fight Club, it's Hamilton's Hangar, you know, GB Linden, Ray, myself, our man Kenny, Jeff in Lower Alabama on Thursday, right before Kenny. We've got Dave's RC on Friday nights. Pilot Ryan on Saturdays. And then on Sundays now we got Big Go Hobby, which is awesome. And Randy. You know, so kind of an after-hour show. Randy does a bit of an after-hour show on Sundays. So you can go and hang out with him too. And hug some bears. Anyway, guys, all y'all have a great evening. Pick yourself a Dynam and go get it at rcairmarshal.com. Click that Big Go link. And like I was saying, those links help us more than you will ever know. You know, if you're buying from Horizon, if you're buying from BitGo, if you're buying something on Amazon, doesn't matter what it is. If you're buying something from Banggood, you know, consider heading over, you know, make that one little stop before you go to your final destination. Whether it's any of those four things, head over to rcairmarshal.com first and then go to Horizon and then go to BitGo, because it helps our channel a ton when you use those links. And every time you use those links, the folks at Horizon and the folks at BitGo and the folks at Banggood want to send us more stuff. So we get to show you more things, and that makes everybody happy. So I greatly appreciate you using those links. It's awesome. And, you know, it helps us out a ton. And it helps us help you out a ton. So we appreciate it. Thank you guys, everybody. We will see everybody next week. We might see you earlier than next week because something might be happening on Thursday. I don't know. If it is, great. If it's not, whatever. But whatever's happening, we're at least going to see you on Monday. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night.